Hi, everyone. This is Jacqueline from She Writes Studios, and welcome to Light the Torch, where today we celebrate a fierce storytelling and radical truth telling with faith, freedom, and other efforts by Rhiannon Anderson. This isn't your typical memoir. It's bold, it's raw, it's brilliantly human. Rhiannon was born with a degenerative muscle condition and told by doctors what her future would not be. But instead of living quietly inside those limits, she chose to live loudly, truthfully, and unapologetically. From childhood struggles to adult awakenings, this book explores disability, faith, grief, humor, love, and identity through a lens that breaks the mold. So if you've ever felt you didn't belong, like your story didn't fit the narrative, this is your invitation to rewrite the rules and you do it your way. Hi, Rhiannon, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Jacqueline. Thanks for having me.
Well, I am so excited to have you today, and let's dive right into your opening line. You started with a very bold opening line: I'm not supposed to be here. Why did you choose that line, and what does that mean to you today?
I think I chose it because I sort of wanted to grab people's attention straight away. I and
Mhm.
I think that's something that I remind myself often, um, almost every single day, because the truth is I'm not supposed to be here. My doctors, when I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy at the age of 3, they simply told me or my family that, hey, look, 19 years old is sort of the where she's not going to be here anymore. Um,
Oh, wow.
and and I think for me, knowing that at a relatively young age, I just stumbled across that information. My parents didn't tell me. I found it. I think every single time that I've gone to do something new or something's challenged me or something has scared me, and I'm borderline going, oh, I don't think so. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here. You only live once. Just go for it. And I think it's a humbling reminder too to be like, hey, life is precious. Life is a gift. It's given to us once, and make the most of it.
When did you realize that your story, this story that you have, very raw and personal, that this is something that the world needed to hear?
I think I started public speaking when I was very young. I was probably about 11 years old when I did my first
Mhm.
ever public speaking engagement, and it was at my father's work conference in front of 250 business executives,
Oh,
and
wow.
it was a big step from giving presentations in school. And I remember at the end of my speech, I talked about my disability and how it impacts me, and why supporting foundations that help muscular dystrophy research was so important. And I had people coming up to me, including the CEO, shake my hand and thank me. And he said to me, "You've got a really good gift for sharing your story, and you're going to impact a lot of people." And I think the the light bulb slightly turned on at that point in time, and
Mhm.
I've always had people telling me that my story is needed and whatnot, and I've always loved storytelling. I've English was my strong suit over the maths. That's probably why I went and did a law degree instead of something, economics or whatnot. But I think for me, yeah, I've always had this sort of internal feeling that everything I go through in life will somehow help other people. I just didn't know what that was growing up until sort
Mhm.
of I more so reached early adulthood.
And it's wonderful that you were able to now share your story through this book. I wonder though, with everything that that you had to share, which chapter was the hardest for you to write, and which ones have kind of helped you healed all throughout the journey?
Oh, that is a good question. I said to someone the other day that I cried writing every single chapter. I think I went through a good couple of boxes of tissues, writing this book. I think the whole journey was so cathartic for me and so healing. And as I was writing, I was recalling things that I'd completely forgotten about. It had unlocked the files in your brain that you pretty much lock with several padlocks with a big "do not open" under any circumstances. Um, and she got open with cutters, and so I think there was a particular. I think chapter 5 was probably the hardest for me to write. I
Mhm.
think I but I say that it's weird because it was like it just effortlessly flowed. That's probably a bit egotistical of me to say, but I didn't have any sort of mapping for how my chapters would progress. I sort of had the 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 chapter name, the chapter title, and sort of a couple of dot points of okay, this is what I want to talk about. But other than that, I sort of just let my mind take me wherever it wanted to go within that chapter. And I think chapter 5, it was like I was reliving my life from like
Mm.
but all over again, but almost from like a bird's eye view. And I remember finishing that chapter being like, wow, we went through all of that. And it was the first time where I'd actually gone, wow, we've actually been through a lot. We've actually, yeah. But I think the one that, in a weird way, even though chapter 5 healed me the most, I think the one that made it come full circle was probably one of the last chapters. As I was starting to finish up, I think as I was writing it, it was just like, what a journey this first 26 years of my life has been. And we've come so far, and so much that was designed to probably break me ended up being the thing that I chose to rise from and build from. And I'm here because of. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And it's interesting how realization or looking back makes us realize that there's so many things that I've accomplished despite of, right? Doesn't matter what people have told me before, there is there's so much more to talk about right now. And one of the other things that you talked about in your book is the society's rule book. What were the biggest rules you had to unlearn to live fiercely?
I think when you're diagnosed with a disability, you're immediately put into a box, and that box is
Mm,
usually unworthiness. There's something really wrong with you that you don't
right.
deserve to live within society. There's a lot of expectations put on you that you either there's three things that you become in life: either a public speaker, an athlete, or you live on government handouts or government incentives. And I struggled with that. Weirdly enough, sort of as I started to learn more about my condition, and then as I started into the world of social media and started seeing
Mhm.
so many other people's perspectives and experiences, and started hearing people with disability talking about all the societal stigma and the boxes that you're put into, I was like, oh, that's not what I want. That's I want to be able to feel free to go and apply for jobs that I want to apply for, and go out for on a night of the town with my friends, and not have to worry about, oh, A, can I get into this venue, but B, will they even serve me? How will I be treated? Um, so yeah, I think everyone in society gets put into boxes. I think society is very, very good at forcing you into boxes and saying, well,
Mhm.
that's all you can be, and go away essentially. And it takes so much strength and a lot of work on yourself to be like, actually, and courage to go, no, Jen, I'm actually going to get out of those boxes and start finding my own path through life. And society's just going to have to deal with it.
And that's wonderful. It's very enlightening to understand from your point of view that you don't have to comply as to what society tells you. if this is not you, if you want to venture out and do more, then you just have to try, right? Would you say that this, amongst other, are major misconceptions about disability? And what do you hope your book will, open up to breaking down these misconceptions?
I think I wrote this book to help a lot of people in the disability community feel seen and understood, but also I wrote it to start a conversation within the broader
Mm,
society and to start flipping the narrative on what disability looks like, and but being honest about it. And I think there's so many along with the misconceptions, there's and I think part of those misconceptions is what puts you into the box. And I think writing this book from a place of complete total honesty, there is things in here that I have never spoken to extended family about. Um, and yeah, I think that it's something that's so important is to see people as human, and I've tried to make that the strong through line through the whole thing is that we are all human, and there's things that we deal with that maybe other people may not, but also you got to deal with that on top of everything else that life throws at you, because
yes.
life doesn't, all the key life milestones and the roller coaster that life usually is, that doesn't get put on hold because you're disabled. Sort of life doesn't go, oh well, okay, because you've got all this going on, we're just going to stop you going through bereavement, or we're going to stop you going through failing subjects at school, or relationship breakups, or whatever the case may be. It's you got to deal with both of those, and it's how do you deal with both of those. And I think there's also like the misconception of disabled people can also be very angry, and you don't approach them because if you ask them a question, they won't be happy with you. But it's like, no, we're actually, there's so many of us that are so approachable, and the majority of us are so approachable because we feel life on a completely deeper level. And I hope that really comes through in this book, that human aspect to it.
That's awesome. And what would you tell someone though that who feels that they don't belong, and you know, someone that feels that I'm not supposed to be here?
I think I would tell them that there's so much to life to live for. There is so much out there to go and see and explore, and society will try and pull everyone down at some point in time. It doesn't matter if you're disabled or not. It doesn't it That's the one thing in society that doesn't discriminate. Everyone will
Hmm.
try and society will try and knock you down at some point. And I think it's important to remember that you are you are valued, you are important to the people around you. It's so important to find your own tribe, whatever that may look like to you, and surround yourself with people who really genuinely want to see you happy and see you succeed and want to help you get there, and to continue to be curious about life and to continue trying so many things, because we're all going to end up at the same place one day. And it's so important to be able to live and have no regrets and go, do you know what, I tried everything, and there's nothing that is out there that I, wanted to try and didn't. So making sure that you find a way to love life in whatever that way looks to you, so important.
Take the courage and step out of the box, right? That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, to close us off here, what do you hope readers can carry with them along after they've read the final pages of your book?
I hope that people take with them that it's having a bit of self-deprecating humor is healthy, and being able to laugh at yourself, maybe not
Mm,
straight away, but eventually being able to look back and laugh and smile. And I think seeing that people with disability are so much more than just a chair or a cane or a hearing aid or, you know, a, a brain condition, that there's so much, that we are so much more, and that we're so human, and that life is messy, and it's not sunshine and rainbows every single day, but you can take that and turn it into something that is so worthwhile if, like you said, you would just have the courage to stand up or to take that first decision to be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to start embracing life and seeing it as the beautiful, wonderful mess that it is, that every single one of us deserves to live fully.
Well, thank you so much, Rhiannon. Thank you for sharing your story, sharing your book. This isn't just your, as I've mentioned, a regular memoir. This is a story that shatters a stereotype, that people can really be who they really want to be. They don't have to be in that little box. Faith, freedom, and other effort is a courageous, gut punching, and graceful memoir that invites us all to stop shrinking and start speaking. Live fully, even when life doesn't look the way we imagine it. So, for everyone with us out there, please grab a copy. Faith, Freedom, and Other Efforts is now available on Amazon, and let Rhiannon's words ignite the fire in you to live more honestly, humor, and with a heart. Thanks again, Rhiannon. Thanks everyone for joining me today. Have a great day.
Thank you.